Bella and the Beast, Part 2. In Part 1, the Beast had provided the merchant with his horse and carriage to take the merchant home. There was an agreement between the two that the merchant would return within 7 days by himself or with one of his daughters to serve the punishment of either 70 weeks or 70 days. After a surprisingly easy but worrisome journey, the merchant got home. He relayed the sad story of his experience over the last 2 days. Ruth and Abby were terribly disappointed that they didn't get any gifts and suggested that Bella be the one to go and spend 70 days in the castle of the beast, since the whole problem was caused by her request for a blue rose.
"There is no need for any of you to go. I will go and serve the punishment for 70 weeks. The beast is fierce and ferocious. When he first came to me, he was so green with rage and fury, but when he calmed down, he became a blackened color. No, you must not see him, but I pray that when I go back he will treat me well and allow me to come back home early. Boaz, your brother, will have to come home for a year to be the man in the house. I will send him a telegram."
"No, Father. Boaz's studies must not be disrupted. I will go for 70 days. That's not long at all. It's really only 2 months and a bit. That makes more sense than you going for more than a year. You have to take care of your health, Father. 70 days will go by quickly, and then I'll be back, and we can forget about the horrid beast. Don't be upset, Father. God works out everything for good." Said Ruth. "You're right, Bella. 70 days is a lot shorter than 70 weeks. To spend 70 days in the dungeons of an old castle is one thing, but 70 weeks, that would be disastrous. Father, let Bella go. She has a lot of energy and will be able to do the tasks the beast asks her to do. You may not be strong enough to do whatever he wants." Bella was just trying to be brave. She was secretly anxious about going to live in the beast's castle for 70 days. Her father had described how humongously ugly he was, and she was worried that he may treat her very badly. She imagined being kept in a horrible dark dungeon, as Ruth had suggested, infested with mice and rats, and food and water being pushed down to her through a small grimy hole. How dreadful! It was thus decided that Bella would be the one to go. However, in spite of her worries, Bella prayed every night before she slept that she would be able to endure all troubles in the beast's house, and that her family at home would also remain healthy and happy. On the 6th night, before the journey back to the beast's castle, Bella had a dream of the blue rose again. This time she was sniffing at a whole bouquet of blue roses and laughing merrily. She found this dream very comforting, since she believed that the blue roses represented the beast's castle. The 7th day came at last, and Bella and her father woke up bright and early and set off for the beast's castle. The horse seemed to know exactly where they were going, and within a few hours they reached their destination. Upon entering the open gate, they were met by the beast himself. Bella was shocked at his ugliness. Her father's description had not prepared her for the sight she beheld. He looked like neither human or animal, but he was actually a giant-sized, frightfully deformed and ugly man. He lifted Belle out of the car gently and put a small silver chest where Belle had sat.
This is a gift to help you out till your daughter gets back,
He growled at the merchant.
Your daughter will have need of nothing here, so you can take her box back.
When Bella tried to protest, his growl turned into a menacing roar.
Everything you need is already here, I said. You do not need anything from your box. Take it away. Your daughter will be safe. She will come back to you in 70 days, God willing. Go now.
He did not give the merchant a chance to properly say goodbye to Bella. The stallion, as though it knew precisely what its master was saying, turned round and galloped back out of the gate, taking the merchant with him. Goodbye, father. Don't worry about me. I shall be all right. Poor Bella was now shaking with anxiety. She followed the beast along the path and into the castle. They went through the hallway and up the stairs, where the beast showed her to her bedroom.
This is your bedroom. Everything in here belongs to you to keep for always.
My room? I thought I was to be locked up in a cell, not in a room. This is not a room for a prisoner, sir. The room was the most beautiful, luxurious room that Bella had ever seen. On the table in the corner was the most beautiful bouquet of fresh blue roses. It was even prettier than the bouquets she had seen in her dreams. The voice of the beast softened as he responded.
You are not a prisoner. You're my guest, and I hope you'll be comfortable and happy. Maybe you will even want to stay longer than 70 days.
He continued.
My castle is big, and there are 3 floors. You can go anywhere you like in the castle, apart from the 3rd floor. Those are my private rooms. The gardens are also very big, and you can go on walks for as far as you want. It is safe as long as you don't go out of the gate. My old cook and gardener, Mr. Laddie, and his daughter, Aunt Jan, live in the castle cottage at the back. You may see them around, but it's very quiet around here. That's all. You will join me for dinner in an hour.
He left the room abruptly, shutting the door behind him. Bella called to him as he shut the door. Sir, what jobs must I do while I'm here?
Be happy, that's all,
he thundered back.
And don't call me sir, call me beast or prince.
Bella considered the options. Should she call him beast or prince? In spite of his appalling appearance, she decided to call him prince. Bella was left to admire the beauty of the room. The blue roses were simply mesmerizing. But what treasures were inside the room? Beautiful clothes, jewels in gold, diamonds, and other precious stones. By the bedside was a Bible. She heaved a sigh of relief because that was one thing she wanted to take out of her trunk before her father left, but Beast had not allowed it. And the one here was almost identical to her own Bible at home. Looking through the window were the most enchanting gardens she had ever seen. Fountains, lakes, mini waterfalls, and streams lay scattered among the colorful vegetation. And there below her window were rose bushes, white roses, pink roses, red roses, but only a few blue roses. The air smelt of flowers. Looking around, Bella felt she was going to spend a not so unpleasant 70 days. The next morning, Bella was woken up by a knock on her door. A slim, good-looking, middle-aged lady came into the room holding a tea tray. As she saw Bella, a strange look flashed across her face as though she was trying to remember something. She introduced herself as Aunt Jan. Breakfast will be served every morning at 9 o'clock and dinner at 7. Prince says you must come down for breakfast and dinner. There will be light lunches in the library from 12 till 3 p.m. As this lovely lady pulled aside the curtains and arranged things in the room, Bella noticed that she kept throwing secret glances at her as though trying to remember something. It was really nice to know that there were other people around and not just herself and Beast. Bella, however, found that both Aunt Jan and her elderly father, Mr. Laddie, were quite elusive, and she seldom saw them. So life continued really pleasantly for Bella. Every morning she joined Beast for breakfast and every evening for dinner. After breakfast, he seemed to disappear through the gardens and sometimes out of the gates. Bella was then on her own, and she would wander in the gardens, making friends with the rabbits and tortoises and other wildlife. Then she would retire to her favorite place, the library, where she would leisurely have a light lunch and read books. Beast, she noticed, never came for lunch. Bella soon discovered that she and Beast shared a love of books and nature and were able to converse on these subjects in an enjoyable and agreeable way. When he laughed, the ugliness of his countenance seemed to diminish, and Bella began to like him more and more, and he her. Bella explored the inside of the castle, but stayed away from the forbidden third floor. What was on the third floor, she often wondered. One morning, after breakfast, in her 4th week, seeing Beast go out of the gates, she decided to secretly venture to the 3rd floor. After all, there was no one around. Maybe she could discover some of the secrets of the enchanted castle in the middle of the forest. So she tiptoed cautiously up the flight of steps to the 3rd floor. She opened the doors and peeped into the rooms one after the other. They were all dark and gloomy. Thick curtains were drawn across the windows. The 3rd room, however, sparked her interest. It was the way it smelt. It smelt of soil and earth and had the distinct scent of blue roses. Bella tiptoed in and pulled aside the curtains slightly so that she could see what was in the room. It was a bedroom, Beast's bedroom, untidy and messy. There were paintings on the wall, but they were all cracked as though someone had purposely slashed them with a weapon. The paintings were all of a young man, but it was impossible to see the facial features because of the slashes and cracks on the portraits. How odd, thought Bella. Why would Beast disfigure such nice artwork? There was another door inside the room, and she opened it. That was where the smell of the earth and blue roses was coming from, and to her surprise, she found herself in a small greenhouse where only blue rose plants were being grown. Sunlight streamed in through the glass window above. Bella tenderly and skillfully watered the plants, and finding some seeds, carefully planted some in the corner of the soil patch. Beast wouldn't know, and she would come and check its growth every day when Beast goes out of the gates, she thought. Feeling satisfied with her secret, She left the room and third floor and went down to the library for lunch. Bella was pleasantly surprised to see how quickly her blue rose grew in the greenhouse on the third floor. By the third day, the petals were visible, and she felt so pleased with herself that she sat down on the floor, humming a tune, admiring the plants and generally daydreaming. Suddenly, she was jolted to reality by the sound of a door slamming shut. Heavy, quick footsteps brought the beast through the inner door into the greenhouse. Bella was terrified when the furious beast bellowed angry words at her. You disobeyed me? Get out! But before Bella could get out of the room, he whisked her into his big arms and transported her out of the room with heavy stomping strides that made the castle shake. Down the corridor they went. Then he opened a door and dumped her on a chair in a dusty, poorly lit room.
Stay here since you can't be trusted.
With that, he stumped out and locked the room with a key. It all happened so fast that Bella was at a loss of words until he shut the door behind her. Please forgive me, she cried, but there was no reply. Hours passed, and it grew dark and eerie in the room. Bella, a little scared, cried herself to a slumber filled with unpleasant dreams. This is the end of Bella and the Beast, Part 2. Look out for Part 3.